Coach Komphela, maybe just, opening remarks heading into that fixture. You've already said, you're expecting a tough encounter. But maybe, from the time we last spoke at the lodge to now, how have the preps, gone, and what can we expect come this weekend?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much. I think there's not much that one can say away from what they said during the launch, except the fact that maybe a highlight on the same points I mentioned with regards to our track record with Richards Bay, that when we played them at Dobsonville, they are one of the teams that beat us. And that on its own sends a very strong message with regards to their capability. And obviously, it's amazing what the announcement or the launch has done to the players. Obviously, everybody would be prepared to go in and battle it out, try get to the next round. I got reminded, I got a very rude awakening when we were training. As we were training, I could feel some energy amongst the players. And the physiotherapist said to me, this is what you get when you know that you win 100,000 rand for man of the match. And I went ballistic. I said, I had forgotten about that. And the small discussion that occurred was that, but coach, this is somebody's salary. And then she looked at it in two ways, the right way and the wrong way. But how practical is this? Is this sustainable? Is it good for them? Listen, it depends on how you look at it. If I were to go into a 100,000 rand match for myself, it would show. It would definitely show. And it starts from training and the preparation, and which says to everybody involved, the innovation from culling, Black Label, is starting to get in. And there's a whole lot of other benefits in the competition, one would say. But I'm no spokesperson for culling Black Label. I just have to bring out the reality that if players say that, the match is gonna be something else. And I hope after this remark, the print or whatever announcement would be made based on the press conference should not then awaken the Richards Bay players that, oh goodness me, we had forgotten that it's 100,000 rand. But so be it. And how beautiful it is when we have 22 youngsters on the field of play, giving the best that they can for their clubs, and knowing that the reward at the end of the day is just an appreciation of that individual who has been selected to be the recipient of the 100,000. When you know that anyway, football is team sport, it's only recognition of individuals that, okay, out of all the 22 who've done so well, you happen to be the lucky one. And we're looking forward to the match. In terms of the opponent itself, as we had said, they're very direct. On top, they pose serious threats. And one of the players who really gave us hard times was Untsundwan. He's quite powerful. He's good on one-on-ones. The profile physically gives him the opportunity to be more of a central attacker, but they opt to play him wide on the left. He does drift inside, giving the opportunity. And I enjoyed the one-on-one between him and Keenan Phillips when we played against them. And I hope Keenan will then say, listen, I'm still here, I'm still standing. Can you bring it on again? And again, whether will they have Figueiredo or Mgomezulu, whichever they attacker, will they have Litsie Kwapeng? You never know. But you know as well that they do have quite a number of good players. Barnes could be one of them. You have Muhomi is there with them, Komani. They have got a good squad. And the coach as well, great guy, reputable, a fighter. And obviously he would wish to repeat what happened at Dobsonville. But we need to revenge. Whatever happened at Dobsonville, I'm sure it can be undone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Coach. Let's take questions from the floor. I see one hand here, Tsepang, Sokala Duma. I've noted Colin and Tsepo as well, and Prawolta as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon, sir.
You speak about this 100,000 cash prize and man of the match. Are you in favor of it or not? And how do you sort of get your players to not put the entire focus on that money, because at times it can get out of hand because someone is really thinking about pocketing 100K?
I think it is important for us to embrace these concepts. I'm not in the marketing department. I'm not in the innovation department. But one thing for sure, these people invest a lot of time in research, in data, in wanting to ignite the brands and make the PSL very exciting. The commercial part of the game is handled by people who are experts in that field. And they know how then to come add value to the technical part of the game. So all we technicians need to focus on is how can we then embrace the commercial part so that there's a smooth signage, and explain these concepts to people. There's one big challenge about life. The fact that you see it for the first time does not necessarily make it wrong. The fact that you have not come across it in your life does not necessarily make it non-existent. So the first time that this is happening should actually be something to say, okay, let's have a look at this. It's going to be a different topic after the end of the tournament. People will be talking that how many matches did we play? Multiply by 100,000. How many men of the match were there? Could be that one player could make R500,000 from that. All they need to do is to perform top quality 590 minutes, and they have R500,000. Where would you get that? Some of our brothers and sisters finish off their lives without having made that much. So when there's commercial value, empowerment brought in, we can be critical, we can observe, but try find, there's always a silver lining in a dark cloud. Find something that can be of benefit, because we're trying to grow the game. In my opinion, I embrace it, and I think players as well. I cannot start thinking of the opposite. Kabadino Mangu or Andy Lechali or Uzuma wins man of the match or Umabas. And then he says, no, this innovation doesn't work for me. I wish one of you guys could say that. I wouldn't. I would immediately say, would you double it, please?
Thank you very
Thanks,
much, Coach.
Tsepa. Thank
Let's
you.
move on to Colin. I've noted you, Raul.
Coach, as things stand, and are you convinced and happy that the type of Arsenal assembled will lead to expectations moving into the league standings?
I'm trying to think of a better way, not to make it such an obvious response that it becomes redundant, because for sure players would then expect me to answer in a more embracing and progressive way. If you look at the players we have, Ukwanda has been in the field for so many years. Ukinen had been at Supersport, he's been there and he's a top right back. Bongani Sams, it's something else. If you talk of Keegan Allen as well, Kwasafa, whatever, is some. I'm trying to count individuals so that the response at the end must be justifiable. If you look at Andy Lechali, Palani, Mtetwa, the captain, you go to Malinga, you go to Mabasa. Currently, he's leading the charts in goal scoring, and as Tule Jongi. You definitely realize that, but these guys are capable. And then you take the same audit of your squad, you compare with the rest of the other squads in the league. Forget the position they're sitting on now. Had they not lost against Cape Town City, and we know we could have done better. Had they not lost against Richards Bay, we know we could have done better. Could have been a different ball game. But one thing that they advised us to do, and they advised me to do, they said, Coach, if they see you come out early, there's a possibility they might go for you. So it's better we stay where we at the right time, you show face under the radar.
All right, I'm going to come to you, Brawasa. Tsepo, ENCA.
Thank you. Mukotisi Tsepo from ENCA. Looking at how the team started this season, probably, arguably, a good start. You get 8 games, top 4. Okay, MTN 8, how you lost touch and go to them, and then down narrowly. are you probably one of the favorites for this title, for this Carling tournament? Will I be wrong to put you as one of the favorites based on how you started? Thank you.
Each time you call yourself, your number will say number busy. If you dial your phone, it says number busy. If I were to then put up a score sheet with regards to progress we've made thus far, I think humbly so would say, so far so good and could have been better. Mamelodi Sundowns MTN 8, we know we suffered the red card, 4th minute, just beginning of the match. But still, that does not give us the right to say we would have won the match. But it gives you the other way of saying, could it have been, would it have been, should it have been? But it's what it is. And coming to the league itself, I think, to be honest, we're boxing according to how we had intended to. We had gone to pre-season, and then at pre-season, we had come up with a strategy, because you don't go to pre-season just for the sake of physical preparation. You go there, you strategize, you come up with planning and all that, and individual goals and the club objectives and all those. Mabasa, how many goals you want to score? How many goals you want to score, Gaba? AJ, where do you want to see yourself? Youth players, how many do we have to get? All those in line with the strategy and obviously the business concept of the club. Now, when it comes to the club itself and where we at, we had started by saying, the PSL, based on data, you can check throughout all years. Any team that's hovering around below 30, I would say, they are risking relegation. And teams that are desperate to stay in this beautiful DStv Premiership, they say we need to get 30 minimum. And it has proven through years. You are at 30 points, you are at risk, but you still make it. You are at 40 points, then you are at the MTN 8 mark. When you look at those, and then if you want to win the championship, where do you then have to be? 60 points had been average. But unfortunately, Mamelodi Sundowns has just raised the bar. They've just blown this thing. There they say, catch us if you can. And we have to catch them if we can. So based on that stats, then we said, let's do our planning, guys. Where do you wish to be? First, let's look at who are we? Who do we have here? The team has given us an opportunity to work with these top players, stars, and all that. So we need to quickly find chemistry and get to gel, because it is only through emotional glue that you get good performances. So we got the glue, we got the chemistry, we got the camaraderie, and then we managed to fight and play in a way that is intended. Then start plucking points. Now we said 30 points, let's move away from that. It's highly risky. 40-point mark, top 8. Musa did a great job last season. We ended position 8. Now we're saying, do we want to improve that and go maybe to 6 and 5 and 4? Yes, we should. We have a responsibility, because there are inclusions and additions in the team. So then it means the product has to be a little bit more improved. Expectations say that. Then we said, be crazy, go for 60, man. Now, when you go crazy, you're aiming for the stars or for the moon, so that if you fall, you don't get to the ground. You are at least within a zone that is comfortable. We said 60. Now, that 60 then said, this is going to take the whole 4 weeks of pre-season that we took, the explanation I'm making, but it is important. Then the 60 points then said, you play 15 matches first round. You play 15 matches second round. Then what you then do, break these 15 matches in groups of 5-5-5. And in every group of 5 matches, get 10 points. It would be 10, 20, 30 first round, 10, 20, 30 second round, you win the league. Which then says to you, you have a right to lose 1 match, you have a right to draw 1 match, but you gotta win 3, which is 369 plus 110. And then, so it does say to you, you can lose, this is football. And in all years where we had wept, if you lose 6 matches in a season, whatever happened in between, there might have been too many draws, unfortunately, or you didn't just win matches that were supposed to be, but it will take you through. And we are there. We are at 16 points, I think. Sugubantat.
Putting him on the spot.
Suku number 4. So out of these 8 matches, we're supposed to have had 16 points, right? Based on 2-2-2-2. So we are at 14. So we have a deficit of 2, which then changes the mentality of players in terms of work ethic. You don't depend on, no, we are position 4 now, we can relax and all that. That's gone, done and dusted. But you still owe Moroka Swallows 2 points. So that 8 by 2 gives you 16, that 30 by 2 makes you 60. So we still have a deficit of 2 points, which we have to get. Somewhere, somehow, we must get those 3 points. In the other group of 5, we have no right to lose the match because we have a deficit of 2. So based on that, then the audit says we've been doing well. When people look at it from outside, comparative to what had happened in the past, these guys are doing well. But based on our own objectives, the strategy and the planning, we say, we're still 2 points short. And then we demand those 2 points so that we are true to our word and our planning in the pre-season. So that's where it's at. And I'm sure it gives a bit of an understanding of why this talk was so long. It goes a long way. And at the end of the season, you look back when you do your final reports to say, okay, based on what we said we wanted to achieve, did we? And then you do your analysis then. Come through so that you can improve the next season. That's what we had been doing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's now move on to Mr. Walter. But he was first.
Steve,
Frotmanak.
people address me Bra Walter, and I'm so happy that all these years have also addressed me.
Thank you, Manus.
But
Auyo mala ukuke.
Steve, Mamelodi Sundowns will be kicking off this cup competition tonight, and obviously, as defending champions, they would like to defend it. However, they will be going into this game without some of their regular players who are playing regularly in their team. Now, you as a coach, putting yourself in Coach Duran's shoes, how would you have reacted? Yes, people are talking about the depth that Mamelodi Sundowns have at their disposal, but you now as Moroka Swallows, without that depth, now going into this game of this magnitude, how would you have reacted, being forced to go and play such a game without some of your regular players?
What a difficult question.
Is it a fair question though to Coach Steve?
But it is a hell of a relevant question. And
I'm just asking, how would you have reacted as one of the coaches?
Let me give respect to the question. Okay. Though I may have ducked and said, hey, good question, wrong person. But let me go to it this way. I feel very sorry for the schedule is going to be crazy. It's going to be the African Super League. You're going to have the Champions League. You're going to have the DSTV Premiership. You're going to have a lot of knockout competitions, and Carling Black Label is no different. At the back of that schedule, you have traveling. And you know how difficult it is to be traveling in the continent. Now, I'll pull some of these thoughts that I normally have in my life. Football is then using business to say, SAA, whoever you are, is it possible that you can have a connection in Burundi, in DRC, in Egypt, and all that? The network of flights in connection has to be so swift that sport can meet the agenda and demands. So you then use sport to trigger the business connection, and you force then business entities to create those routes and all that, even though it's only Mamelodi Sundowns. But the message is there, that we need to create a network of connection in the continent so that it is easy and it is more accessible in traveling, because Sundowns is going to have problems. Now, I think we're playing in the DRC, right? I mean, Bafana was playing in, what do you call this, Cote d'Ivoire. And I don't know the Sundowns players who had gone there, how will they come back for the match today or tomorrow? It's going to be a mess. Then it goes to the depth of the squad. Yes, it is true. There's depth in the squad, but there's also chemistry, because as soon as you change 1 or 2 players, it does reflect in the team performance and dynamics, group dynamics. That is also a challenge. It's going to be a bit difficult. But I think burdens and blessings are cousins. The fact that Sundowns is so blessed to have so much quality, and they are into the continent at such beautiful competitions, then those blessings become a burden in terms of how do you mitigate them. So then the squad depth, yes, it will be. But one big thing that we thought of was fatigue. Not only physical fatigue, also fatigue mentally. How many matches are they going to play? Which then creates the other view on no, but too many matches for players. And that has been mentioned even by other coaches abroad. But we are saying the coaches abroad are at a better platform financially, economically, and commercially, because their teams, the sponsors, and football activities from a commercial point of view there is different from us. How do we then get to them? Can we then create an environment that enables football in Africa to grow from a commercial point of view? When you have AFCO or World Cup, there's also facility upgrades. So you're saying if there are these super league matches, African Super League matches, there'll obviously be injection financially. There'll also going to be upgrade on training fields as well. So there is a benefit that comes with it. But there's also a heavy burden of the schedule. Now, when I look at Mamelodi Sundowns as someone outside Mamelodi Sundowns who's aggressively looking to get better and above Mamelodi Sundowns, then you have a thinking that it serves us well in the PSL in this manner. If Mamelodi Sundowns is too busy, the schedule is too heavy, they will feel the pinch. They will be tired and all that. So then it becomes a responsibility of whichever teams in the PSL who are ready then to stay fresh, compete and win. Stay fresh, compete and win, they have a chance. So the Mamelodi Sundowns schedule may be a challenge to them, but they know how to periodize. Top professionals, I worked there. So even with perfect periodization, rest, hydration, nutrition, diet, whatever you do, somebody who's back in South Africa just training, resting, waiting to play, stands a better chance. And those who've done a bit of data analysis and audit, when you check at Mamelodi Sundowns over the years, if you look at who was likely to be the next in line, if Mamelodi Sundowns don't become champions, who then becomes champion? That particular individual or club stands a chance now to plan properly, to say, I wonder they will play 40, 50 matches without showing any signs of fatigue. And if by any chance they come into the DStv Premiership and they show any sign of fatigue, we gotta take the 3 points, get closer, take the 3 points, get closer. It's going to be very interesting. But I feel for the technical staff at Mamelodi Sundowns. But as I said, burdens and blessings are cousins.